how to talk to your brain to heal your pain. This is a simple yet surprisingly powerful technique that you can use on your healing journey. And contrary to common belief, there's no one size fits all that fits everybody at any point in time, but rather there are many variations of this technique. And knowing how to choose the right variation in the right time is one of the most important keys for the success of this technique. In this video, I'll explain the rationale behind the technique, why it works. I'll share with you 5 different ways in which you can talk to your brain to heal your pain. And at the end, I'll also share with you 2 essential keys that can help you make sure that the technique works for you, that it really succeeds. So this is a full tutorial. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to talk to your brain in the most effective way, most efficient way, and to harness this beautiful technique to help you on your healing journey. First, let's explain the rationale behind the technique. Chronic pain in general, and chronic pain specific, is a mechanism that's supposed to protect us. And as such, it reacts very strongly to fear. So either fear activates pain or a sense of safety can relax pain. In our brain, there's a part that's responsible for those very basic emotions like fear. It is called the limbic system. It's the most primitive part of our brain. And the intention behind this technique is to use higher functions of our brain in order to relax the limbic system, and in this way to reduce the level of fear and relax the entire system and reduce also the level of pain. So when we speak to our brain, when we talk to our brain, what we're doing is we're using cognitive areas of the brain, areas that are responsible for speech, areas that are responsible for higher reasoning, and also areas that are responsible for positive emotions. All of these can influence the limbic system, create a relaxation response in it, and consequently reduce the level of pain. There's something that most people that try to use this technique get wrong, and I want to clarify that first. As I've mentioned before, this is not a one-size-fits-all technique. It has many variations, and in order for it to work for you in your specific situation, you have to find the right way to do it. Okay? So instead of trying just one specific way of talking to your brain, what you want to do is to try all of them and see what hits a string, what works best for you. The second thing which is important about this technique is that this is a technique in which we are meant to speak. So if you have the conditions and you can actually speak out loud, that's the best way to do it. But if you do not have those conditions, what you can also do is speak internally. So you're talking to your brain, but you're not uttering the words. And by the way, there's something important for you to know is that many people think, well, who am I actually talking to, right? It feels a bit awkward, it feels a bit weird to talk to someone that's not there. And don't worry, when you're talking to your brain, you're not losing your mind or something like that. What's happening is that 2 parts of your brain are starting to communicate with each other, and in this way begin to create the relaxation response that we are so longing for. So let's go over now the 5 different ways that you can talk to your brain. Try them all, see what works best for you. The first style or way to talk to your brain is a soft, loving, compassionate way. Think of it like an adult speaking to a child that the adult really loves and cares for. So it's a sort of a motherly or fatherly energy that you want to project onto your brain. For instance, it could sound like this: hey brain, you actually say the words, hey brain, we're in it together. I understand that you're now afraid. I understand that you're using these protective mechanisms in order to protect the body. But now we can start let go. We can start release this protective response. We can relax together. I'm here with you. We're going to go through it together as a team. So in this way, when you talk to your brain like that, or choose whatever sentence that works for you, compassionately, in a loving way, immediately there's a sense of relaxation that spreads throughout the body and the nervous system. And this strategy would work for some of us. It would be highly effective for some, but others would need a different way to talk to their brain. Let's move to the next one. The second strategy, or the second way to talk to your brain, is with authority. When we say authority, what we mean is talking to your brain in a clear, very direct, very decisive way. It's like guiding a child to do something that they do not know how to do. Okay, so you wanna place yourself in the role of the adult between the two, and as the adult, start guiding your brain, telling it what it needs to do. For instance, hey brain, you have to stop what you're doing now. Ooh, there's something flying here. You have to stop what you're doing now. We don't need this protective mechanism anymore. You can let go of it. So pay attention to the tone. Pay attention to even your bodily posture. You want to do it with authority. Some people use this technique in this way even through shouting at their brain. For some, it is going to work. Just this week, I received an email from a patient that told me that shouting at the brain works best for him. So again, we are going to use this inner authority. We're going to enter this stance of directing the brain, telling it what to do, and if needed, we can also shout at the brain. When you do it, make sure that you have the space for it, that nobody else is going to look at you and, kind of wonder what is going on. One more important thing about shouting at your brain is that at times it can create a hard stop. It really stops what the brain is doing at the moment. The third way to talk to your brain is using humor. Humor softens fear. So when we use humor, especially if you're naturally a humoristic person, that you can harness the power of humor in order to soften the fears in your limbic system, and in this way create a sense of safety in the nervous system. So you can talk to your brain, you can even invent a name to your brain. A patient told me once that he called his brain Simon, and had these beautiful conversations with Simon about the meaning of life, laughing at things, having fun together, and simply kind of using laughter and humor in order to soften what the brain is doing. So for instance, it can sound like this: hey brain, we can let go of that, right? We can really do it together. Let's go, let's have fun, relax, you don't need to worry about that, and and things like that. So I personally am not a very humorous person, so for me personally it wouldn't work so well, but if you are connected to humor, if humor is a part of your essence, try to do it. It's very, very effective. The fourth way to talk to your brain is using data. For some brains, for some people, using facts, using data could be very relaxing. Just this week I heard an interview with someone who has hypermobility syndrome, and she shared that for her, using data, using science, using research, using studies was a really fundamental thing that helped her on her healing journey from pain. So using the data, using facts, using the science, talking to the brain as if you're a scientist that quotes studies. For some brains, this is very, very reassuring and relaxing because it brings back the sense of control. So when you learn about pain, when you learn about neuroplastic pain, you can use the studies. For instance, 90% of back pain, chronic back pain, doesn't have a physical medical explanation, which means it comes from a neuroplastic mechanism which is reversible. You can quote studies like the Boulder pain study that showed incredible results in healing from pain, and use this knowledge in order to create this relaxation response in your brain. The next, fifth way, is an encouraging way. So here, think of yourself again like an adult talking to a child, but here you're like coaching the child. When the brain produces fear, you're afraid to do this activity or that activity, what you can do is you can guide your brain as if you're a coach. So tell your brain, hey, we did it already in the past. I know we can do it again. Let's take those 50 extra steps when we are walking today. Let's try to lift 100 grams more today. let's try to work 15 minutes more today. So we did it already in the past, we can do it also today, and we can even increase a little more. So here, you want to use encouragement. You want to use this forward-facing movement, which is very positive, which is very encouraging, and it really looks at your successes. So when the brain is filled with fear or hesitation or doubt, you can use all previous successes, harness them, and encourage your brain to produce more out of itself. In this way, you tune it to the rhythm of healing. Two crucial points. Without them, many people fail. So please pay attention to these next 2 points. The first point that will make sure that you're succeeding in it is to understand this fact. First of all, when you talk to your brain, at the beginning, the impact, the effect of relaxation and pain reduction will not come immediately. There's a time gap between your practice, when you talk to your brain, and the impact, the effect. In the beginning, it could be even a day or even 2 days. So let's say that today you're talking to your brain, well, nothing happens, everything feels the same. Suddenly, after a day or two, you feel a sense of relaxation. You feel somewhat better, a slight reduction in your symptoms. That's a very good beginning, because when you're starting to practice this method of talking to your brain, it's not going to have an immediate impact. This will take time. So make sure to remember that there's this gap. Don't be disappointed, don't be discouraged that it doesn't work immediately. This is a matter of practice and building the capacity and getting better at it. Okay, so that's the first point. Don't be discouraged if it doesn't work immediately when you're just starting out. The second point, which is no less important, is consistency. This is a habit. This is a new skill that you're developing. Nobody is born with the capacity of talking successfully to their brain and healing their pain instantly. It doesn't work like that. That's a learned skill. For learned skills, you have to practice, you have to repeat, you have to be consistent. So when you're giving it a shot, when you're giving it a try, commit yourself to at least a month of talking to your brain daily and doing it at least 3 to 5 times every single day. In this way, you will gain enough repetitions, you will gain enough experience so it's to kick in. And once it kicks in, you will see the effects. After a while, you will see the effects quite immediately, but this takes time. Just remember that. And of course, what can help you is variations, using the 5 different variations that we've presented here, and really trying to find what works best for you, in your case, with your specific situation. So let me know now, what are your questions about this technique? If you have any doubts, if you want to share your experience, let me know in the comments below. By the way, I'm Dr. Brosh. I'm a physician with 20 years experience, and what I do for the last 12 years is treating chronic pain using mind-body techniques. If you like this content, if this is helpful for you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video so other people like you can also find it. And before we go, you can watch also this video here that will teach you another important technique, essential technique that can help you on your healing path.